Good evening, gallery, those online viewing the meeting, staff and councillors. Welcome to the June 30th, 2026 Richmond Valley Council Ordinary Council meeting. I'll open the meeting with an acknowledgement of country. Richmond Valley Council recognises the people of the Bundjalung Nations as custodians and traditional owners of this land, and we value and appreciate the continuing culture connection to lands, their living culture and their unique role in the life of this region in the past, present and future. Mr General Manager, would you read the prayer, please?
Dear Lord, we meet to serve our Richmond Valley community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognise our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well. Amen.
Amen. Mr General Manager, item 3, have we any apologies?
Yes, Councillor Murray has advised that she has had an unavoidable work priority come up, so she's seeking a leave of absence.
Could I get a move to accept that, please?
Move that way.
Councillor Humphries and a seconder.
Yeah, I'll second.
Councillor Hayes. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Mayoral minute, item 4, there is no mayoral minute. Over onto page 8, Mayoral's report, my attendances. I'll move that. I'll get a seconder, please.
Second, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey, any questions arising?
Yes, Mr Mayor, please. Just on the 15th of May, business beers, bowls, barbecue, casino business chamber. Could you tell me whether it was well attended or what it was like, please?
It was evening put in by the chamber, business chamber, held at the RSM Club, and it was a very enjoyable and successful evening with a few rolled up, and it's a nice night.
Thank you. And on the 18th, Casino High School, project opening presentation. Can you just tell me what the project is, please?
The project is they're building a trailer, and they were presented with all their high-vis and helmets and safety equipment that day and launched it.
A trailer, like a food trailer, or along the lines of the question on notice?
I'll take that on notice, because if I say it's the wrong one, yeah.
Yep, okay, thank you.
I think it is a food trailer, but barbecue type thing. Yeah, but I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You missed a page. So finish this item,
Ooh.
then you missed a page. So finish that item then.
Okay, I'll put that motion. All those in favour? And councillors, I've just been advised that I have jumped a page. My apologies for that. They must have been stuck together. So we go back to page 6, confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 19th of May. Can I get a mover for their accuracy?
Move, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey, and a seconder?
Yeah, second.
Councillor Cornish. You want to agree with the accuracy of those minutes? All those in favour? Carried. Matters arising out of those minutes?
Yeah, just a question on page 17 of the attachments.
Councillor Hayes.
Yep. The flood risk management study and the plan put out by NEMA as in the last few days, and the CSIRO, it says there at the end of June 26 it'll be available to the public, which it is. Briefings with council have been scheduled during July 2026. Do we know the dates yet?
We do, and I'm pretty sure you've been invited. It's the week of the 20th, and it should be in your diary. So it's Monday the 20th at 3 p.m. So you have been sent a calendar invite. Yep, for that. So that's the week that they're in the Northern Rivers. So they're meeting, they're doing briefings with councils, but they're also doing some public and community workshops as well. I was only talking to Adam earlier today so that he gets some of the timeframes so that we can include it in some of our next newsletter and other communications. So we'll be communicating that, but there'll also be a specific briefing here with Jay Varze that councillors have been invited to. And that's happening for each council.
Any other matters arising? We'll move on. Item 7, declaration of interest. Mr. General Manager, have you received any?
Yes, I have. I'll just go back to that. So yes, I've received a declaration from Councillor Walker, be declaring a non-pecuniary but significant interest in item 14.1, which is the draft casino CBD master plan. As Councillor Walker's employer, the Casino RSM Club and Casino RSM Properties are listed as owners of one of the Catalyst project sites in that report, and the club's real estate activities could have a major impact on the report's outcomes. So Councillor Walker will leave the room for that item.
Thank you. Any other declarations? Notice of motion. There's no notice of motion. Once again, councillors, my apology for skipping to the next page, but we've dealt with that now. Page 9, delegates' reports. There's nil. Matters determined without debate. Does any councillor have any items they'd like to call?
12.2.
Yep.
It was 12.2 as well, Mr Mayor, so I'm
Okay.
fine.
12.1 needs to be called naturally. I'll call that. And also the 14.1 being a planning matter. So, Mr. General Manager, I believe we now need a motion for 16.1 and 16.2. Can I get someone to
that's
move
correct.
that, please?
Move, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey. Can I get a seconder, please?
Second.
Councillor Humphries. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, I'll move the recommendation on 12.1 on page 10. Can I get a seconder, please?
Second, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey. Councillor, this is pretty straightforward. The current Code of Meeting Practice was voted down in the upper house, so now we have to revert to the previous Code of Meeting Practice, which is required for all councils to do in the state. So I don't think there's much more to say about it. We'll just do it and get on with the agenda. Anyone else like to speak?
Yes, please.
Hang on then. Councillor Morrissey.
No, thanks, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Humphries.
Thank you. I would like to sincerely thank Dr. Amanda Cohen, the MLC, for her support and determination resulting in the overturn of the recently adopted Code of Meeting Practice, and fully support it being rescinded. In my view, the timing for these newly imposed restraints, followed by the disrespect and the steely disregard for the voices of the local government sector, the New South Wales Local Government Association, councils, individual councillors and members of the community, has caused unnecessary anxiety and frustration, and I'm sure caused councillors who were keen and able but couldn't attend meetings by audio-visual link over the past months would feel somewhat detached from their council and their fellow councillors. With respect to briefing sessions, I'm pleased that our council was able to continue these under the revised guidelines and didn't lose too much of any momentum over the past months. Again, I would like to thank Dr. Amanda Cohen, MLC, for listening to the voices of local government, and I hope that any future amendments to the code will continue to preserve the integrity of local government as a valued and respected tier of Australian government. Thank you.
Any other speakers? Councillors, I'll close then. One thing I'd like to say is on the visual zooming. There were councillors who stood at the last election believing they could continue to do that. When that right was taken away from them, on some councils, those councillors actually resigned because they couldn't commit to it. So I feel for those people who currently now could have, but we'll have to wait and see what the new code of meeting practice includes in it in coming months. So, thank you. That closes the debate. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Page 12, draft operational plan 26-27, including the draft financial estimates 26 to 30, draft revenue policy 26-27 and draft long-term financial plan 26 to 36. I believe Councillor Hayes, you call this.
Yeah, I just want to call the recommendation as written at this stage.
Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Walker. Councillor Hayes.
Look, I've moved the recommendation as presented, and I'll be supporting the adoption of all three policy documents put before Council tonight. While each document is important in its own right, I would like to make a few comments regarding the revenue policy. During my time on Richmond Valley Council, I've seen the revenue policy evolve through its annual review and adoption. These updates have reflected Council's ongoing commitment to maintaining a financially responsible organisation while ensuring that our rates and charges are applied in a fair and equitable manner. Over the years, I've seen this policy amended to give effect to resolutions previously adopted by Council. Two examples of that come to mind are the changes following the sale of the Evans Head Memorial Aerodrome and the leasing of the Northern Rivers Livestock Exchange. If we adopt the revenue policy before us tonight, we will similarly be implementing another resolution of Council, namely the adjustment to the water charges applicable to the Casino Food Company. The policy before us gives effect to that decision in a transparent and accountable manner, while continuing to provide the framework for the fair and sustainable funding of Council's operations. The revenue policy for 2026-27 includes an adjustment to the water supply charge applicable to the Casino Food Company. This follows the determination that the long-standing previous agreement cannot continue to be relied on. The proposed charge will increase from $1.27 per kilolitre to $1.69 per kilolitre. This represents an increase of approximately 33% over the previous rate, but it will remain substantially below our standard non-residential water usage charge of $3.76 per kilolitre. Under this policy, the company will continue to receive a significant concession, paying approximately 45% of the standard non-residential rate, representing a discount of around 55% compared with other commercial water users. In my view, this strikes a reasonable balance between recognising the company's importance as a major local employer and ensuring that Council moves towards a fairer and more sustainable pricing structure for all water customers. I make note that the proposed changes is still heavily discounted compared with the standard commercial water supply charges. The Casino Food Company continues to receive a significant concession worth more than half the normal commercial water charge. This policy seeks to balance support for an important local employer with fairness to other ratepayers and water users. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Walker.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, I second the recommendation as printed. But in doing that, raise the issue that whilst none of us like to raise rates and charges, there are times that you simply have to do so. And I think keeping the rate to the peg is a good decision, but the increases in the other charges have to happen if we're to keep our infrastructure in any reasonable shape and move forward. 8 and 10% is a lot, particularly in this time, but from a position where I probably thought I'd oppose it, I think on reflection that they're necessary, because if you don't raise them this year, you're just deferring a raise in future years, and it's critical that we keep our infrastructure at the right level of investment. I particularly draw attention to the extra $500,000 of the stormwater drainage, which I think is something that we introduced last year and needs to continue being funded. So I fully support that, even though I do regret that the rate has to go up by, or the charge has to go up by so much. I'd like to thank the staff for the detail in the report, Mr Mayor. I've raised a number of issues about the way the budget was prepared in recent discussions, and they've included most of those objections in the report, and I think that really makes it much more transparent and shows the members of the public that we have tried very hard to be efficient and to find savings where necessary. In respect to the water charges, I have a completely different view than Councillor Hayes, but I do support the charge structure change as proposed, but for different reasons. I hope when the General Manager continues his negotiations, he takes into account the views of the co-op, because I think they're really important, and a stage introduction may well be the way to go. Unlike most other councils, I actually believe that the co-op's participation in our water scheme keeps the rates lower for every other user than in fact is seen as a subsidy, and that's an argument I'll make at the appropriate time. But the fact that they're in there, they take nearly half of our supply, they underwrite a lot of the costs that are there. If they were not a participant, then people would pay a higher amount for water. So there are pros and cons to what's going in, but I think the recommendation is sensible, and I'm pleased that the negotiations between the parties seem to be amicable and moving in the right direction. So, Mr Mayor, I fully support the recommendation in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Councillor Humphries?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. With regard to staging the water, my concern there is that it's a user pays system, and that won't be user paying for at that rate. So I look forward to getting all the information that we need back to us in March next year to go further with what we're doing for the following years. With the stormwater, it's like having heard from our community, it's really good, excellent to have that extra $500,000 invested in the stormwater drainage to assist in the community's needs, and I hope that it will go towards meeting their expectations, but I don't see any way other than also having to review the outdated stormwater charges, and we'll most likely be looking at a special rate variation to close that gap with maintenance of council's $78 million stormwater assets. So that's we've got the $500,000 in one hand and hopefully $500,000 in future years, but it's still a big bucket to fill. With regard to, I also wanted to comment, while this is all about expenses, Council has also reported that how they're about achieving efficiencies. For example, plans to accelerate the move towards the landfilling at the Namoona Waste Facility, and expecting extra funds in future years. And also revised depreciation timelines for the casino sewage treatment plant. So hopefully we'll get some good results from those two efficiency ideas.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Just a quick comment. Putting up rates is not a good call by council. But I'm pleased to say that we are keeping in the rate peg limit percentage. I know of other councils who are doing special rate variations, which the government given permission to go higher. We're not going down that path. But on the other charges, like the sewer and the water and the garbage, there's been extra costs involved, and they need to be covered. Otherwise, down the track, your infrastructure fades away, and sooner or later, instead of keeping the maintenance up, it's like anything, it's a really major cost to fix that and it's a bigger impact on the councillors. I'd just like to say it sounds like a big increase, but when you put the charges, it would be 5% for the usual and the rate peg. It's a bit over, but it's not a massive increase like other councils are incurring on their community. So I know the staff have worked diligently to do the best to keep the costs down and fit inside the budget that we have, and it's not an easy task, but the only other way you can keep rates really down is cut services. And I think we're at a level where our community expects the services we supply, and I note that there's only been 3 public submissions, 2 from the caravan park, the Korakai, or referring to the caravan park, and the other one was from the casino food company, and also a private person from the community. And I thank them for taking the time to look at our budget and associated plans, and taking the time to put a submission in. Yes, it's, every time it's doing a budget, it's pretty hard when you've got to go to a community and ask them to put in more money, but it's a part of the job. Councillor Hayes, write a reply.
Yeah, I'll just close. Yep. Look, I'm fully supporting the adoption of these documents tonight. It shows Council's commitment to deliver essential services to our community. It shows how they will be funded responsibly with public funds by the levying of rates and charges fairly and equitably, and ensures the organisation remains financially sustainable for the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. That closes the debate. All those in favour? It's unanimous. We're going to go over the page to page 16, Office of the General Manager. There's no reports. We move now on to item 14.1, and I believe Councillor Walker has a... Can I get a mover for this, please?
I'll move it to me.
Councillor Morrissey. Seconder?
Second.
Councillor Cornish.
I thought you called it, Mr Mayor.
Sorry?
I thought you called it.
I did, I'm sorry. I'll move it then.
I'll second it then.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Cornish, you've
Sorry.
missed out. Councillors, this draft actually went to some community organisations and businesses. You'll see on page 20 we're engagement, and I believe there was a lot of feedback. I'll be asking the General Manager to make a comment in a minute about that. And I also noticed that if this is adopted tonight, it will go back out to public consultation. So the community will have a real lot of input into it, and I believe that's how it should be, because it's their CBD and the future is theirs. And I just would like to make the statement that this is a 25-year strategy. Everything in this master plan is not going to happen in the next 3, 4 or 5 years. It's out there for the 25 years. So it'll take time, but if you don't have a plan, you will not get a result. So, Councillor Morrissey, as seconder.
No, Mr Mayor.
Mr General Manager, make a couple of comments about that engagement, if you can, previous.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Obviously we've been working on the Casino CBD Master Plan. We've had the supporting consultants, Cadia, Planning & Co and GHD, supporting our team, led by Tony McAteer. But we've all had a contribution along the way. Look, I think it's a really exciting plan. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to the response from our community. It has been formed with consultation taken into account, with opportunities for people to come to workshops with the consultants. We've also had direct discussions with a range of businesses throughout the casino CBD. But also, we've come up with a draft plan, and it's really important for everyone to take the time to have a read through that plan and have some conversations. There'll be further workshops held where our consulting team will be available to have discussions with those who are interested. The plan sets a really bold vision for what casino CBD could be. It is in stages, a 0 to 5 stage, which is about reinforcing the commercial core of the CBD. The medium term, 6 to 15 years, is looking at attracting catalyst projects and looking at mixed use growth. So that's a mix of commercial and residential potentially in the CBD. And then in the long term, it's aiming to realise, which is the 16 to 25 years, aiming to realise that the connection with the river, the connection to the rail trail, but also boosting that CBD core, making more of the river and where it is in the context of the CBD. So, look, it's a very detailed plan. Has also includes ideas from other regional towns and cities to give the community and the reader the opportunity to think about what could be for casino. Probably the other interesting aspect of it is we identified 3 pilot sites within casino, RSM properties being one, Days Machinery being another, and the Richmond Valley Council site being a third. The idea of that was to look at what could happen on those sites. And so what's in the plan are very much concepts, ideas, to, I suppose, show what could happen with the right levers, the right investment, the right investors to come into casino. So it's also about attracting that investment, renewing the buildings within the CBD, but also making sure that we keep that Art Deco feel and the things that people love about the CBD. So there's quite a bit in it. I'd encourage people to have a read, come to our sessions and give us some feedback. We'll be doing communications over the next few days out to the community to explain some of the elements of the plan, but I'm really looking forward to the feedback that we receive and really encourage people to open their mind to new ideas and think about what could be. So thank you. And I just want to thank the team who've put a lot of time and effort into getting this draft master plan together, both internally but also our consulting team. I think they've done a really good job, and looking forward to getting some feedback.
Thank you. Any other councillors?
And just a quick
Councillor
question.
Hayes?
Was there a previous CBD master plan for leading, like we're going in the next 25 years? What's happened in the last 25 years?
To my understanding, there hasn't been. Stand corrected, but no, I don't think there was a casino CBD master plan. And one of the things that we are looking to do in the next financial year, which we've talked about, is a similar exercise in Evans Head, but it'll be a bit broader than just the Evans Head CBD, just given the different scales of the towns.
I was just interested to find out the 14-metre height limit that exists in the CBD here. How did that come into play, and why was it brought into play in the past?
No, I don't.
I don't know the answer to that. It's probably an answer that I can take on notice. I reckon Tony McAteer would have a little bit of insight for us, which we can ask him and get an understanding of where that came in.
Thank you.
It may have, like when we do other places, we've had higher buildings, so we made that, so they might have just bought it the whole level right across. I don't know.
It would have been part of an LEP when it was last made, potentially. It would have been considered whether it was adjusted or not. I'm not sure.
So it would have been out the community consultation, you would think? But,
Yeah. So you always have to advertise LEP, so yeah.
Thanks very
Councillor
much.
Humphries?
Coming in this evening, I spotted this on the table, which would be hard to miss, but I opened it to the page, the pilot site concept for Graham Place, and did a little piggy squeal of glee It's truly, the plan goes beyond and above my expectations. And I'm very excited as well. I think that perhaps following all the excitement that I saw and felt at the opening of the suspension bridge, that the timing for community consultation on this CBD master plan will be met with a great deal of optimism. I intend to take a keen interest. Mr Mayor said future is theirs. I'm glad the future belongs to our community at large, Mr Mayor, because we may not get to see very much of it. I think the descriptive words used in the report paint a perfect picture of this draft plan. And I really do think that when the members of the community see the plan and the maps and the pilot concepts and of a place that they love so much and they know so well, I think there is just going to be so much positivity and some interesting conversations had during the consultation period. And I'm glad, we've done it before, but I'm glad that there'll be representatives from the consultation team, the consultant team. They're going to visit Casino to conduct the info sessions and stakeholders engagement along with council. So I think that, I just think it's going to be brilliant, and I can't wait to see what comes out of the the community consultation, and thank you so very much. It's truly wonderful.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No. Councillors, yes, I believe a lot of work's gone into this with the consultants, but our staff also. So I thank them, and you could pass a thank you on to the consultants, please. I think it's a good plan, a sound plan, and Councillor Humphries, I'm sure there are people in this room that will see 25 years. Who they will be, I don't know. But thank you, everyone. I look forward to our community's feedback, and I know the river aspect of Casino was highly sought after, and I think on Saturday at the opening of the bridge opened a whole other perspective of that river up. So it's very good. That closes the debate. I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, that takes us to page 31, matters for information. Can I get a mover, please?
Move this, Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey, and a seconder? Councillor Walker. Councillor Morrissey?
Through Mr Mayor, could I just ask, in relation to grants that have been approved, I asked a couple of times back about Her Way connecting Casino CBD with Queen Elizabeth Park. Could I just get a bit more of an update on
What page are you on?
45.
45. Thank you. Mr General Manager.
Thanks for that question. Quite timely. We were notified of that, but as happens with grants, it was under an embargo, and the embargo was lifted today. I'm still allowed to talk about it. The fact that we have secured $1 million under the Safer Cities Her Way 2 program. I might just ask Director Kao to give us just a short overview of what the process will be for that. So, thank you.
Director Kao.
Through you, Mr Mayor. So the Her Way grant funding is part of the Transport for New South Wales Safer Cities program, which essentially looks to improve public spaces for the purpose of ensuring women, girls and people of diverse genders feel safer and able and willing to use the public space to walk and navigate in, based off some of the research that the state government had undertaken to date around limited usage in certain circumstances. And we did actually put in the grant and were successful in that $1 million application, which essentially will be used over the next 2 years till 2028. And the process will take us multiple stages. The early stages do engage in a co-design approach to how we look at our CBD space. So that was where the grant applied to, and it's off the backs of anticipating that we would move forward on the CBD master plan. And then as part of that, putting that into application and into practice is co-designing on both soft and harder infrastructure to improve our public space and access, particularly to what was formerly and is still the case, the footbridge, but now the new suspension bridge. So those public connections from the CBD, from the rail trail to the bridge to the southern side of our casino area. So that's where it's headed, and as we progress through planning for implementation of this $1 million grant, we will be reaching out to members of public, particularly the user groups that this program targets, to do pre and post program implementation, as well as workshops in the public space, surveys and the like, to really be able to then sit down together and pave out what ways we can improve user friendliness of the public space, both in daytime and at night.
Thank you very much, Director Kaya.
Any other matters on matters for information? No? No more, Councillor? I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. Councillors, page 51, questions on notice as nil. We go over to matters referred to closed council. I need a motion to go into closed council, please.
Move, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Morrissey, and a
Second.
seconder.
Second.
Councillor Hayes. Mr General Manager, has there been any written representation made regarding this meeting going into closed council?
No, none received.
Are there any verbal representations from the members of the public? Thank you everyone for your attendance. It's much appreciated. I'll put that motion then. All those in favour? Carried. Mr General Manager, could you read the resolutions of closed council, please?
I'll let the relevant directors do that. Thank you.
Director Gator.
In relation to item 19.1, tender REG Pro 372526 RVC bulk fuel and fuel cards, Council resolved to 1, decline all tenders for REG Pro 372526 RVC bulk fuel and fuel cards due to all submissions failing to meet Council's requirements. And number 2, advise local government procurement that Council wishes to use local government procurement contract NPN 117-2 to engage Ampol Limited as Council's local supplier for bulk fuel and fuel cards, which will provide competitive pricing and fuel supply security.
Thank you.
In the item 19.2, tender VP 501329 casino sewer mains rehabilitation, resolve that 1, Council accepts the tender from Interflow Proprietary Limited, which represents the best value for Council at $542,713.85 exclusive of GST, subject to the successful agreement to commercially acceptable terms and conditions of contract. And 2, the General Manager be authorised to negotiate and finalise the terms and conditions of any contract or agreement in line with the content of this report and the available budget, and affixing the seal of Council where necessary. Or 3, if a suitable agreement cannot be reached with Interflow Proprietary Limited, reject all tenders and apply clause 1783E of the Local Government General Regulation 2021 to authorise the General Manager to enter into direct negotiations with suitably qualified and experienced contractors with a view to provide Council with the best outcome from a financial and delivery perspective, and to finalise terms of the contract or agreement and affixing the seal of Council where necessary.
Thank you, councillors. That brings the meeting to a close. Thank you, staff, gallery and those online viewing for your participation, and everyone have a safe trip home. That closes the meeting. Thank you.